Hi, beautiful patrons. We are looking at an operating understanding today, the Vesica Pisces, which is a notable sign or symbol in Luciferianism that you are going to see represented in, oh my gosh, so many places. And I'm simply going to tell you that the operation of the Vesica Pisces is really an operation in Lucifer's system. And the Vesica Pisces really does denote or show a woman's vagina. Look at the bullet point or the very pocket point in the Vesica Pisces symbol, where you see two interlocked rings, which is the heart of the matter when it comes to understanding the Vesica Pisces, but also understand that this is very much a system. Vesica Pisces operates in a system, and this symbol really does mean to show or is meant to denote that, in fact, there is a sex ritual operation that is going on behind closed doors with those who prominently display this symbol. And I'm saying a very challenging and even almost harsh statement, but I am serious when I mean to say that, in fact, when somebody is showing a Vesica Pisces symbol in their branding, in their iconography, in their symbolism, they are really showing that they are operating some sort of a sex ritual system behind closed doors. Not only does the Vesica Pisces show a woman's vagina or that particular shape, or a sex symbol, or not a sex symbol, but a sex ritual system, it's also meant to denote the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, or what is also known as the eye of Horus. Horus is synonymous with Nimrod, or is a synonym for Nimrod, if you will, but that all-seeing eye system, Lucifer's eye is on everything, is absolutely also iconically represented in the Vesica Pisces. So you're really seeing two things, although there's so much more here, because it really is also a system in numerology. It's also a system in their operation of geometry, which is a mathematic system in Lucifer. There's a lot going on here. Witches will also notably use this very often in their witchcraft symbolism as their operating craft. There's multiple layers of things that are going on here when you see a Vesica Pisces symbol. So let's go even further. Here I wanted to show that all-seeing eye so you had a frame of reference for this. We're not just seeing a sex operation, we're also seeing this idea that Lucifer's eye is all around the world and it's always on you, and he can see you or operate wherever you go. We're also seeing this eye operated inside of this square and compass of the Freemason system. Again, that really is a look at numerology. It's a look at geometry. It's a look at gematria. There's multiple things that are going on here. And again, that outside ring, there's layers of systems that are going on here when you see this really complicated kind of almost mandala system that is in operation here. There's layers that are going on here when you were looking at a lot of these symbols. Let's go even further. MasterCard, easy to see the Vesica Pisces here. We have looked at this hundreds and thousands of times, and most people just never see that this is a Vesica Pisces, but that is absolutely what you're looking at. And MasterCard loves to entrap their consumers and customers. The more interest rate they can apply, the more money that they make. And there is absolutely a sex ritual operation that is going on here, again, behind closed doors. And I'm just going to even challenge and say that MasterCard is absolutely a company that is operating in Lucifer or in Lucifer's system, or is even a Luciferian company. Again, Audi. This one is really interesting. We can absolutely see the Vesica Pisces notably shown here, but there's three Vesica Pisces in this particular picture, which is its own system. There's three. Three is always a representation of 666 in Lucifer's system. That is absolutely not a mistake. This Audi iconic brand and logo was absolutely presented as it is on purpose. This is not just a common mistake or a misnomer. This is presented as it is because they are operating in Lucifer's system. Here we see the iconic again, and I know I'm using that word a lot, but how often have we seen these symbols and ideas represented around the world, but really popularly also in American culture and American cultural systems, the Olympic rings. I grew up watching the Olympics, but again, interestingly enough, there are 4 Vesica Pisces in this particular system. And oftentimes what a system of 4 will represent is 4 sixes. And they're felling a genome with that operation in 6666. That 4th genome, or that 4th 6, is a felling of a genome. And we're going to be looking at this in really a separate video. Truly, but understand these Olympic rings are absolutely Vesica Pisces and are an operation in an entire system. It's quite interesting that you see a colorful display with the outside rings, but they're really all linked into a middle black ring, almost an all-seeing eye in and of itself. There's a lot going on here. If you look at this even just a little bit further, the gematria and the geometry of this is really unbelievable when you start to really pull this apart and really look at it deeper. Under Armour, obviously a Vesica Pisces. We may have just slid over this looking at it so many times, but there's a lot more going on here, and obviously an all-seeing eye right in the middle there. Coco Chanel, or Chanel, a popular clothing brand and even lifestyle industry, but again, Coco Chanel herself is definitely an operation in Lucifer, and we see the Vesica Pisces and that all-seeing eye in the middle of her branding and logo here. Here is the Catholic Medical Mission Board. I pulled this one when I was combing through the internet looking for examples of a Vesica Pisces, but this is a Christian organization. You are going to see some challenge slides coming up here where, in fact, there's more going on here. This Catholic Medical Mission Board, this is a philanthropic organization where you can definitely donate for people who are in need of medical care. And it should be really a Christian organization. Why are they showing or denoting a Vesica Pisces? Why is there something that is akin to a sex operation system in Lucifer going on with what should be a medical philanthropic organization? There's something else happening here. Oh my goodness, look at this one. I meant to put this one at the end of the slide deck, but I'm glad it's here. This is the Washington Monument in the middle of downtown Washington, D.C. I was here myself and went all the way to the top. Look at the grounds around the Washington Monument. How many of you knew that this was a Vesica Pisces in and of itself? The Washington Monument is an obelisk, and you can see these well noted around the world, even in front of the Vatican itself, a well-noted obelisk there. However, an obelisk is absolutely connected back to Nimrod. Again, Nimrod being part of that false trifecta or trinity in Lucifer, Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. There's an old fable or table that when Nimrod passed away, his body was cut up into 13 pieces, and that 13th piece was his phallus, and that was hidden, the hidden phallus. And here you notably see the phallus of Nimrod, who is a function or a component of Lucifer, shooting up through that Vesica Pisces, the middle of that Vesica Pisces being a vagina. This entire thing is a sex operation system, well noted, sitting in downtown Washington, D.C., and nobody calls it out. But I am here on the video today because we all need to be aware of what is happening in this entire Luciferian system for them in the government and for the persons who operated this entire display for American, what should be notable American culture, society, and history, to be a part of what's going on. It really speaks more to what is actually happening in our American government system. Here is Donny Osmond. This picture was actually sent to me. There were some persons who went to a Donny Osmond show. And isn't it interesting that Donny Osmond himself is displaying a Vesica Pisces as a part of his own branding, as he has a singing career in his elder years. he's still quite popular with a certain sect of people, and he definitely has a cult following. You're going to see this notably shown in so many places. I just want you to be aware that when you see it, understand that there's something more going on. And I'll simply tell you that there's a lot more going on with Donny Osmond. Look at the bags under his eyes. I'm going to challenge here that Donny Osmond has been sodomized and was pedophiled as a child. You can literally see represented on his face systems that he absolutely has a history in sexual abuse and being sexually abused. And isn't it interesting that it's showing up again in the branding or in his own logo as he's ongoing with his singing career? There's several different picks or tells or shows that there's more going on here with Donny Osmond as he's singing in his shows. We just speak a love and a peace and a joy into the heart of the Father for Donny Osmond. I have also notably heard him sing when I was a kid. I just don't want to see him struggling. And I want to see him healthy, whole, and healed in the heart of the Father. Fireproof is a notable movie from 2008 with Kirk Cameron, who's a famous Christian actor. Why is Fireproof a movie about, or a film about marriage and a lasting marriage? Why is there a hooked, all-seeing eye and a hooked Vesica Pisces and an interlock system in the branding on this movie? Unbelievable. Here's where the slide deck again gets a little bit more poignant or sticky, and where I've got some challenge slides for you all. As we dive in further, we're operating a little bit further in the heart of the Father, and I want to show you that in fact the Vesica Pisces is going to show up in a lot of different ways. I want you to become familiar with the overall shape, because it's that center shape that we're looking at as you look at a church logo or symbol or their own branding. And isn't it interesting that there is almost what looks like a bell on the top of, or in that Lake Point Church branding on the, as you're looking at it, the right-hand side of the slide here, it almost looks like a bell, or that we're going to ring the bell. However, there's also very notably the entire shape of that rounded system on that particular branding or logo. It absolutely looks like a Vesica Pisces. It's very curious, to say the least. And I'll simply tell you that this was intentional. There's something more going on here as you're seeing those concentric circles operating into a center. It really is quite sexual in its orientation. You're also seeing then on the other part of this slide here, Saddleback Church, which is another church logo, an entire system, if you will. And in fact, look at the bottom portion of the S on that Saddleback Church logo. You can see again a Vesica Pisces on the inside of the bottom part, the lower half of that S, a very notable Vesica Pisces and an all-seeing eye. Why are we seeing Christian church branding structures and systems with notable Luciferian iconography implanted on the inside? It's at least suspect, if not very intentional. We just have to go further in terms of our understanding here. Here's yet another church branding or logo. There's 3 Vesica Pisces in the layered blue colors behind that G. I'll also tell you that I'm going to have a video upcoming on the letter G itself. G very much connected to, again, Freemasonry. The square and compass on Freemasonry has a G planted right in the middle of it, as we well know, but those 3 blue components that are right behind that G are absolutely all-seeing eyes and are Vesica Pisces. If you're looking at simply the positive space on this logo, here we see another positive space logo where it's absolutely the entire shape of it on the outside is an all-seeing eye. I'm taking you in a little bit further. This is an Episcopalian diocese. Again, an entire operation in Episcopalianism, really a high-noted system in Episcopalianism that kind of runs that denomination in Northern California. Why is there their overall symbol for their organization. Why is it an all-seeing eye? It's something to really question here as we're looking at symbolism. What is going on here? There's something more. I'm going to say is a challenge statement going on behind closed doors with the Episcopalian Diocese of Northern California. You're going to see these symbols all over the place as you're operating in the heart of the Father and as he's taking you further in terms of understanding iconography. Here's where we're going to go even further in terms of our understanding the notable iconic Christian fish. It's a Vesica Pisces. You're looking at the positive space of, yes, a woman's vagina, but if you follow those concentric rings all the way around, it makes an interlock. That interlock is an entire system. What has been shown as a symbol of Christianity or a symbol of somebody being a believer, if you will, this really has more of a nefarious operation, and it's time that we understand that this particular symbol has more going on, and we innocently have displayed this for really decades. These Christian fishes really came into popularity in the 1980s, coming into the 1990s, and I'll simply tell you that there's a lot more going on here with the Christian fish. It's absolutely an all-seeing eye. It's absolutely an operation in Lucifer. And it's not wrong, certainly, to display this. I just want you to know that there's more going on here. And it really is also very much a symbol in Luciferianism. Here we have Focus on the Family, a very popular, again, Christian philanthropic society organization, but really a ministry also, very notably in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Dr. James Dobson himself, the founder of Focus on the Family, and was on the radio for decades. I listened to him every day in my Baptist household growing up. But look at the interlock. Look at the Vesica Pisces in the O and the C here. There's a lot more going on here. I also have more of a challenge statement for you. On the right-hand side of the logo, excuse me, the left-hand side of the logo as you're looking at it, the child's hand that is grasping the hand of what is the Father, this gets a little bit sticky or suspect. Look at the negative space, which is the blue space on the inside of the Father's hand. It's very phallic in nature. If you look at the signs and the tells on this particular logo and in the Focus on the Family branding, there are several things here that are a nod to pedophilia. Focus on the family. The family. Who or what is the family? You would think that it would be the nuclear family, a mother, father, and children. However, focus on their family, the family in Lucifer, which is again a hidden system. If you look at the intention of the verbiage being spoken here, it seems that there can be another display or another thought process in terms of understanding what this organization is really about. I'll tell you that I know a person myself, another counselor who works for Focus on the Family directly, and I've had multiple hours-long conversations with her about what goes on behind closed doors in their counseling industry. They have counselors who work directly for the organization, and I'll tell you that there's a ton of mismanagement that goes on behind closed doors and some very unethical practices. Just looking at the branding and the logo system here, really there speaks to a nod of something else nefarious, some other untoward purposes happening here. And with that, I'm going to pull you off share and simply tell you, I know that I'm saying a lot of challenging things here. There are a number of organizations that people would just assume are bountiful in the heart of the Father. They're just here to be supportive. They're just here to be operating in kind and all purposeful intention. But oftentimes what is purposed here is something quite, again, nefarious. And there may be persons who are working in these organizations who are not who we thought they were. And that is why you're here, to understand the symbolism and to understand that sometimes there's more happening behind closed doors, and it's not always what meets the eye or what we have assumed for decades in popular Christian church culture, and in church history. You are all loved in the heart of the Father, and I will see you in the next video.